Let's freaking go. Fired up. Let's go. I am not joking around when I say there is never, and I mean never, a dull moment when it comes to covering the SEC. We have a lot to get to tonight. Will Myles Brennan ever play another snap at LSU? Obviously, let me know in the comments section below, whether you're watching this mobilely on your phone, whether you're watching this on the TV like Jared likes to do. He likes to pull up my big old face and watch on the TV, whether you're watching on an iPad. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. Answer the poll question today, because it looks as if there are quite a few of you that believe Myles Brennan will never play another snap. Also, we're going to discuss so many different rumors. It's kind of funny how fast the news cycle moves when it comes to LSU football, right? Because just last week, the story of the day was all about Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC. The story of the day last week, or the week before that, was Dale Rosenthal transferring. And then the story mixed in the middle there was Jacoby Mathews decommitting, Emery Jones committing. Then yesterday, lost in the shuffle, was the official announcement that Quinn Ewers is foregoing his final season, which makes Walker Howard now the number one quarterback on the 247 composite. And then at the same time, LSU, and some of you might not know this, but LSU also yesterday earned their number one, or their first slot for the 2023 class with Omarian Miller. As we welcome in Ultra, we welcome in Jared, we welcome in the Master Blaster, whose booger bands shipped out today. Jared went on a Cerveza run. We welcome in Jesse. So yes, and we do this here on PHL. We're all one big old happy group of LSU tackle football fans. This is what we do. This is what excites us the most. This is what makes us happy. So honestly, we just dropped a video on Myles Brennan Myles Brennan and Max Johnson, about Max Johnson's ability to run. We did a film study on how Jake Peets used Max Johnson's ability to run in the spring game and the plays I think he extrapolated from Max Johnson versus Florida. We also welcome in Roger, welcome in Dwayne. But tonight I am dedicating this live stream, and I wasn't going to do this, but I saw this right before the live stream. Jonathan commented below that he lost his father last week. So Jonathan Hamlet, my condolences to you. Look, we're all together because we love LSU football. But I always say the most important thing is your family. It always has been. It always will be. And I get these messages a lot from you guys. It's like, Carter, I've been missing your shows. I've been missing your live streams because, my kid has been playing travel baseball, or my daughter is playing travel softball, or whatever. I always say this. We're always going to be here. So, look, family time is the most important time. And Jonathan, I'm really sorry about your loss. I really am. So, I always say this to people. I care about you personally. I really do. And it's obviously, it sucks. But Jonathan, my condolences to you, my man. I really do appreciate your support of the channel. So this live stream is dedicated to you, Jonathan. Okay. Nick wants to talk some recruiting tonight. Obviously, we'll get to that a little bit later. All for one and one for all, baby. But look, I'm really close to my dad, like really, really close to my dad. And I'm also really close to Haley's dad. So, I understand how important a father figure is. And, whether it's, whether it's me or Kedrick. I don't think he's here right now, but Kedrick, who's always in our live chats, he just had his first child. Ultra, who was in the live stream. Ultra, I think you're in here as well. You're a brand new dad. So obviously that is the most important thing. And we already got we already got a super chat here. And this is actually from Roger. Roger wants us to welcome Colt to the channel. So we welcome in Colt to the channel. Colt, wherever you're watching from, please comment. Let us know if you're watching. Shout out to you, Jared, for the super chats as always. I say Jared, Roger, and Jared for the super chats as always. I really do appreciate you, Roger. And dang, 4 years ago this month for you, Graylin. Yeah, you know, I'm lucky if my dad is still here. I did lose my mom's dad, my grandfather. He fought in World War II, and I was really close to him. I actually showed him in this video we did earlier this year when I was in New Roads, Louisiana. So yes, that's obviously the most important thing. But here we go. Let's see. Yeah, Ultra's teaching his children right. I like that. David, new to the channel. I like it, David. Everyone welcome David to the channel. Everyone welcome Colt, and everyone show Jonathan some love tonight, man. We're here for you, Jonathan. You haven't commented since then, so I know it's a little emotional, but I'm here for you. And also, Jonathan, please reach out to me. You can email me, powerhourlsu@gmail.com. I actually have some stuff I'm going to send you. And it'll make you feel a lot better, because trust me, I pull LSU cards all the time. Here's a old school one for you. James Wright. Who remembers James Wright? A really solid role-playing LSU Tiger. Oh, cool. Well, there you go, Colt. I appreciate your support, man. 24 years for you, Mick. Well, I'm sorry, man. But yeah, welcome to the channel. David, we appreciate you. So if you are new to the live chat, once again, like Roger did, the way we keep the channel moving along, this is what I do full time. I don't have any other jobs. So obviously the Venmos, Cash Apps, and Super Chats, you automatically move to the front of the line. You get to pick the topic. It could be anything current LSU, or it could be anything old school LSU. I get a lot of questions about old school LSU. I get a lot of like Ryan Perilou questions and all of that, and I appreciate that. And this is obviously very key as well. 1 for 10, 2 for 15, 3 for 20. You can get your booger band today. 1 for 10, 2 for 15, 3 for 20. And everyone that gets a booger, or if you order 3, I throw one of these LSU cards in there on me. So 1 for 10, 2 for 15, 3 for 20. You know, the most important thing, and this is such a good question here from Black Mamba. When do you think we'll see more commitments? You know, look, this is the key thing right now. I know some of you are big recruiting guys. Okay, so Nick is recruiting. Nick actually, and there's some people that are like this. Some of you like recruiting way more than you like current LSU news, and that's fine. Well, whatever floats your boat, that's perfectly fine. But this is very important, okay? And I really do mean this. As important as recruiting is, no individual player is as important as the guys that are currently on the team. So as we get closer to the season, you'll still see me doing some recruiting videos, but now we're going to be doing more film studies. Now we're going to be locking in on the season. What are the things that we need to learn from? What are the things that we need to do to get back to the college football playoff? That should be our number one focus on this channel, because obviously that is what we want to do. Okay. Now, look, I am fired up to talk about tonight. I'm wearing my Tiger shirt that I normally just wear on stage. But I am super excited to, I really am fired up for tonight. I really do believe this is going to be one of the best live chats we've had. I'm listening in the sleeper tonight in the Schneider Operating Center. What is and where is the Schneider Operating Center? Let's see. Got any Dalton Hilliard or Greg Jackson cards? I think I have one Dalton Hilliard card somewhere. Not entirely sure. Trying to up my old school vintage LSU game. So let's see here. So let's start with the obvious big story here is, look, the first thing, the best ability will always be your availability. Okay. Obviously, we just referenced Ryan Perrilloux just a minute ago. He wasn't available. Okay. You couldn't trust on him. It was always in the back of your head that he may or may not be a part of the team. Okay. And that could do as much damage as someone just leaving the team altogether, right? So your best ability will always be your availability. Okay. So, here's my email, Jonathan. Let me send it to you. Yeah, shoot me right there. So it is very important to answer Alan's first question. Carter, how can you think that losing one of your possible starting quarterbacks could be a good thing in any way? Well, it's not a good thing for the long term because obviously your backup is going to be Garrett Nussmeier, who is a true freshman. And an even bigger issue than a true freshman backup is that you only have 2 scholarship quarterbacks on the roster, period. Blanche, thank you for the super chat. I knew you were a big Myles Brennan fan. I'm really sorry about that. So no, it is not a good thing. But there is this thing called context. What's up, Eric? Context does matter. It is a good thing for Max Johnson because he is going to for sure be the starter, okay? And he's going to get the majority of the first-team reps, which is very important when it comes to developing chemistry with your wide receivers, right? It helped out in 2019 that Jamar, Terrace, even Jamar, Terrace, Justin, and even Derek Dillon, the 4 top receivers, all got to work exclusively with Joe Burrow for the most part. Cody, thank you for your super chat. So the thing is, it's not a good thing for the team. And obviously, it is not a good thing for Myles Brennan. But there is some positives that come from this, right? As with any big story, there's always positives that go along with most negatives. The positive is that Max Johnson will be allowed to get 100% of the first team reps. Obviously, Garrett will get some of it just in case he does have to go in the game. But not only that, Jake Peetz now knows who he's going to call plays for in the first game against UCLA because you cannot call the same type of game with Max as you do with Myles. They are 2 polar opposite quarterbacks. So it's not that it's a good thing that Myles Brennan is injured, right? But there's layers, as there is with most stories. So yeah, and that's my exact point right there, Alan. It speeds up the development of the other guys. So obviously, Cody and Blanche, you get to pick the next topics. Please hit me up. What's up, Paris? Good to hear from you. I know you're really sad about it. You're a big Myles fan. And as Esteban was a part of our live chat earlier today, it does open up the playbook in a lot of different ways. Also, having a running quarterback helps out an offensive line that's not that great. And LSU's offensive line, I hope they're better next season, but this is not the the steel curtain per se, or the steel curtain was on defense. This is not like Alabama's offensive line last season, which gave whatever his name is, Mac Jones, forever and a day to throw pretty much every down. So yeah, trust me, it sucks for Myles Brennan that he got hurt. Now, this is where a lot of you aren't going to like what I'm about to say, and that's fine. Sometimes things need to be said, and it's out of love. Okay, it is no personal shots, no nothing. It's just the truth. You've got to make sure you stay healthy. Okay, look, I can understand you getting hurt in a drill playing football. That might have been what happened. We still don't officially know how Myles Brennan actually got hurt. He did tweet out earlier today that he is happy that the surgery went well. And obviously, I wish him the best for his recovery. And obviously, it would be really nice to get him back during this season. With that said, you do have to make sure you could stay healthy. Okay. And getting injured potentially, once again, we don't know what happens, but part of you being a football player is maintaining your health. Health is wealth. Once again, I heard it was everyone's saying it's a freak accident. There's all different types of rumors of what happened. Whatever happened has happened. That obviously stinks. But the bottom line is you got hurt. And this is the second time that this has happened. The first time was a little more excusable. It happened in a game. But once again, this could have been the year that Myles Brennan would have made millions and millions of dollars. So yes, part of, being a football player is maintaining your health. But I hate it. I hate it for him personally. And I know he wasn't trying to hurt himself. So we'll see. I'm not concerned about the depth of the position. Not at all. Yeah, you should be concerned. You should be concerned about the depth of the position. You should. We don't know Esteban, but that's the thing. If it was a non-football injury, once again, freak accidents happen. That's the world we live in. I can leave this live stream, trip over Z, and break my face in half. Anything could have caused the injury, but it sucks. I feel bad for Myles Brennan. So we'll see. And, a few of you have said, well, we got to improve the running game. And I totally get that. But that's part of it. The film study earlier today shows that LSU was better off running the football with Max Johnson at quarterback. So we'll see. But there's all different kinds of rumors about what happened. It always goes back. I always go back to this. Your best ability will always be availability. Okay. It always has, it always will. So yeah. And once again, LSU does have to improve their running game. And with Max Johnson, it is the case. So yeah, we'll see. So let's go here. Let me see. Cody, let me know if you got your question, and I'm looking for it. Comment section is lit tonight. I'm really excited. Micah says, how do you think Max will fare up in his first 3 games? Any Heisman Trophy potential? Maybe. Heisman. Here's the thing. Myles Brennan, after the first 3 weeks, had Heisman level numbers. Will Max put up video game numbers? I don't know. I mean, obviously, we'll see. I don't think he can win the Heisman this year, but I don't know if he's a big numbers quarterback, if that makes sense. He doesn't drive the football down the field vertically. So we'll see. Let's see. How long will Myles Brennan be out? I don't know. Let's see. What's up, JJ? Good to hear from JJ. Which 5-star running back? Who are we talking about? John Emery? We'll see what happens. Let's see here. What's up? Yeah, Leonard, it's good to have Paris in here early today. That's great. Shout out as always to Blanche. So yeah, let's see. Do you think that Max Johnson has the O-line around him to succeed? That's a good question. Proper tennis technique. I just love that name. I really do. Um, let's see here. Um, everyone's trying to figure out if JJ knows because JJ's a nurse. So I do know a few orthopedic surgeons. It does take some time. Is it doable to come back during the season? Once again, it depends on the severity and it depends on his rehab. Micah says, look, I'm going to take the long shot odds of Max Johnson winning the Heisman. Betting $100 wins you over $5,000 if he wins a Heisman. Micah, you're that's wild. But proper tennis technique has a good question. Do you think that Max Johnson has the O-line around him to succeed? I'll tell you this. I think a better question would be, is LSU better off with Max Johnson or Myles Brennan behind a patchwork offensive line? And in the film study we released about an hour ago, the answer is that LSU is way better off with Max Johnson at quarterback behind a patchwork offensive line. So yes, it's very interesting. I also think, and this is key as well, when you have a inconsistent offensive line, zone read can do wonders for you. So in the film study earlier today, we showed you how LSU was able to double team Jaquelin Roy without having to block the play side defensive end. And by double teaming Roy, it made it an easier block for Garrett Dellinger and Cardell Thomas on the play. So just having that running quarterback, whereas with Myles Brennan, when they ran zone read type of handoffs, and John brought this up earlier, Myles Brennan would never keep it. And sometimes, you just got to keep it to keep that defensive end honest. And those defensive ends would crash down and tackle TDP and John Emery, especially on short yardage plays. So we'll see. Yeah, and Garrett Dellinger did look like a beast on that play. So we'll see. The best QB LSU had was TJ Finley, and he's gone. What's the phrase again? What's the TikTok thing? Tell me you don't watch LSU football without telling me you don't watch LSU football. And there's no way you could extrapolate from the spring game and the games that we had last season that TJ Finley was a better quarterback than the other two. There's no way. Now, you can make a strong case that TJ Finley played the far more difficult defenses, and I've made that case 1,000 times over. And yes, that is true, and that was very unfair to TJ Finley. But to say that TJ Finley is better than Max or Myles would just be, not telling the truth. TJ has a lot of potential. I wish him the best. And I've spoken with some of TJ's family members, and, I've said in every video that I was a big fan of his. And a lot of I am biased towards Louisiana 3 stars. If you're a Louisiana 3-star, I'm pulling for you. Okay. And TJ Finley was that. He was not ready to play as a true freshman. But this live chat is not going to be about TJ Finley, even though I want him to succeed personally. But yes, TJ has a large ceiling with a large arm. It's just, he was not the best quarterback on this team. But let's see what did JJ said I'm the nurse here. Wait, why is your wife, Jared, making you get mild pipe eyes? You always get spicy. You always do. But yeah, I've said this since my initial evaluation of TJ Finley. He was a year 3 guy. Most quarterbacks aren't ready to play until year 3 anyway. There's not many that are ready by year 2. And TJ Finley had to play year 1, and he had to play by far the more difficult defenses. So, yeah. Let's see. So, Jared, if you have bad heartburn, you do need to get mild. Look, it's never a wussy thing to get mild. It's not, okay? Spicy just tastes better. All right? Oh, Esteban had the okay. Esteban and JJ showing some good stuff. Do you know if Max put on any weight? Leonard, I don't. He does look a little different, though. We also can say with pretty near certainty that Max Johnson has put in the work. You know, just based on social media accounts and people that I trust, it looks as if some of the players that really put in a lot of work this offseason was Max and Coy Moore. And we actually have evidence of those two working really hard. They worked out together during the pandemic before the season even began. Like they personally took time out of their own schedules to go throw the football around. So, you know, that type of leadership and that type of work ethic. And look, I think Jacob Hester brought this up this morning. When did he say this? I don't know if he said this in the Ed Orgeron interview. That's what I normally watch. I always watch that. And I think he said something along the way that, you know, the LSU players are putting in a lot of work on their own this offseason, which is good. That means they're focused and ready to go. They're going to be off on the chat, babysitting the 2-year-old granddaughter. You lucky son of a gun, Big Al. As we always say, take care of your family first. King Alyssa said mild. Put Max Johnson up against Auburn and Alabama and see how he looks. Well, we did get to see him some in those games, but obviously that was garbage time. So, yeah, with the full weeks of game plan, we'll see. Dang, Nick said, Kayshon Boutte, Brian Thomas Jr., Chris Hilton will be the starting wide receivers. Let me screenshot that right there. Nick, I'm going to hold you down to that. You're saying the first week of the season, or are you saying by the end of the season? I don't know why, and I don't get this. And this is going to be the second year in a row we do this. Okay, last year was a little bit excusable because we didn't know anything about him. But going into this season, all right, we're always asking this question, who is the number 2 wide receiver going to be? Okay. It happens every time. It happens every time on this live stream, okay? And I appreciate all 72 of you guys watching. This is very important, though. Please hit the like button. It helps with the algorithm. And as always, Venmo, Cash App, Super Chat, that always helps out big time. But I do want to bring this up, okay? And it is very important. We need to stop insulting Jeray Jenkins. I don't get it. I don't get why we're not all in consensus here that Jeray Jenkins is going to be the number 2 guy. Every stat points to Jeray Jenkins being that dude. And I hope he's that dude. I hope LSU gives him the proper amount of reps. I think you should roll with Jeray as your number 2 and Coy is your slot. Don't forget, sign up for the Substack. We'll have another post coming out, I believe, on Wednesday or Thursday. So we'll see. I am a Jeray Jenkins stan, and I will not stand by the Jeray Jenkins slander. Now, is Brian Thomas Jr. and Chris Hilton really good players? Yeah. They're really good. But Jaray Jenkins is really good. Okay. You go look at some of the analytics. If you look at EPA, okay. So now, unless you're an analytics nerd, I'm not really an analytics nerd. I'm trying to get into it. EPA is expected points added. Okay. And what that means is it's kind of like WAR in baseball. It's like wins above replacement. So EPA, I saw this stat tweeted out, and I need to look up who actually tweeted it out. But Jaray Jenkins led all wide receivers last year that are returning in EPA, in expected points added, which is really hard to do. Jaray Jenkins led the team in ADOT. Jaray Jenkins had the lowest drop percentage. Jaray Jenkins had great yards after catch, despite having high ADOT, which normally don't correlate with each other. Watch out for Jaray Jenkins, okay? And he has a little bit more NFL love than we would like to think. I've heard a few things about Jaray getting seen by some NFL scouts. And no one ever mentions Malik Neighbors. What do you think about the UCLA game as a trap game? Proper, we'll get a little deeper into UCLA when the actual UCLA game week happens. So we'll see. All right, let's go. So Roger is carrying the super chats tonight. Thank you, Roger, for the generous Venmo here. Also, thank you to Blanche. Also, thank you to Cody for the hookups tonight. Let me see if I'm missing anyone so far. Thank you guys so much. By the way, I would like to include that you should join. King Ulysses is a part of the PHL T-shirt club. Jared is a part of the PHL T-shirt club. I also got to shout out Cliff, who's a part of the PHL T-shirt club. If you're not a part of the PHL T-shirt club before the season, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with your life? Go ahead and get your shirt. What's up, Reed? I was wondering where you were, Reed. Reed, where have you been? For those that don't know, Reed is Andy Reid's best friend. I love it. Dude, this offensive line has to be better. Cam Wire, to be honest, was not very good, and I like Cam. I actually thought Cam was good. I do think, obviously Dare is better. I do think there is a drop-off. But to me, a championship offensive line would have been Douglas at right tackle, Cam at right guard, Liam at center, Ettinger at left guard, and Rosenthal at left tackle. Obviously, that's not going to be the case. Look at that, King Ulysses. My goodness gracious. And here's the thing, okay? I only share personal information that I feel comfortable sharing, and King Ulysses has shared this with you guys before. King Ulysses not only just got himself a really nice new crib, he also did all of this while going through a neck surgery. So shout out to you, King Ulysses. You get to pick the next topic. And King Ulysses, you better send me a selfie when you get your shirt, man. I love it. There's nothing better than when I actually see you guys in your shirts and your bands. Okay. And Esteban brought this up earlier. I did send Esteban some cards along with this booger band purchase. And Esteban, this is key. Esteban got not one, but two Texas Legends. He got a Matt Flynn card, and he also got a Danny McCray card. So once again, the next person that gets 3 booger bands, you might not get James Wright. Let me see. Who am I going to send you? Well, I got an Eric Reed card here. Any Eric Reed fans out there? We got a Jeremy Hill card in here. Where are my Redemptorist fans in here? Jared's t-shirt is the most traveled. Okay. Jared wore his t-shirt in Yuma, Arizona. I love it. Let's go. Tony with the super chat. The Master Blaster. Okay, so we'll go to Tony's questions first, and then we'll go to King Ulysses' question next. Yeah, JJ, you're. I don't even remember what cards I put in yours, JJ. I'm trying to remember. It'll be a surprise. I honestly don't remember what cards I put in your order. Let's see. Do you think the SEC is changing college football for the better? Okay, so first thing, to answer Tony's question, yes, I do. Now, for the grand scale of college football, probably not. The Big 12 has a lot of history, but I only focus on the SEC anyway, right? And Texas and Oklahoma, it's two big brands. And I think the SEC is going to be better off, Tony, simply because we do get more diversity on schedules, okay? With the current cross-division rival format, it's stupid, okay? And, you know, I just don't like the permanent cross-division rival. I would like to play Georgia every 2 years. I would like to play Kentucky every 2 years or whoever. And with Texas and Oklahoma joining, you're going to get to play every team in your conference, guaranteed every 2 years. And a lot of you guys travel. I know Jared's a big traveler. I think, Creek, you've said this before. You travel to games. I know a lot of you like to visit road stadiums. What's really cool about the pod system that I've proposed, and a lot of people have proposed, is that with the pod system, you go to every single stadium once every 2 years, which is freaking awesome. It's freaking awesome, right? Austin's an incredible city. Or you go to every stadium once every 4 years. You get to play every team once every 2 years. Excuse me. It's so great. Oh yeah, the T Marshall card. That was it, JJ. I'm sorry about that. Yes, you did win. I'm actually kind of mad about that, JJ, because I've yet to pull another T Marshall card. But yeah, you know, I do think the SEC is going to be better. However, one thing that I hate, all right? One thing that I hate, and I'm not going to lie why, and I really do mean this. I hate the 12-team playoff. I hate it. I am a big believer in scarcity, okay? Scarcity matters. And the more scarce assets are, and in this case, assets are games, the more scarce those games become. Obviously, if you expand the playoff, you lose immediacy in games. I don't like the 12-team playoff, but I do think the 12-team playoff will be good for college football as a whole. It will help prevent opt-outs, and on top of that, it'll make it easier for the Pac-12 to get into the college football playoff. And college football does need the West Coast. It does. Now, we don't need it, but the sport as a whole needs the West Coast. They just do. You know, it's just so many eyeballs. It's so many people in the West Coast that don't care about the sport anymore. So, yeah, you know, I think that even though I think it'll make college football worse, it'll also make college football better. So hopefully that answers your question, the Master Blaster. Let me know, Tony, do you like the way that the college football landscape has changed? What do you guys think? Do you guys like it? Exactly, Creek. It's so cool to play different teams. And shout out to my Shreveport Tigers in here. Creek is in here. JJ's in here. Ulysses is from Monroe, and he's all the way up in Denver. So he's a really North Louisiana Tiger. That was lame. But still, the Master Blaster. By the way, Tony, your cards are in transit as well. Supply and demand. You got to pay for premium. And speaking of, we are running kind of short on booger bracelets. I'm going to have to order some more. So once these are gone, they're gone. The 318. Jonathan, you're a North Louisiana Tiger too? Let's go. Wait, Jonathan, I just got your email. I did not know that there was an Atlanta, Texas. I did not know that. I thought Why do we have, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, you want your, okay. Well, can you list this? Shoot me your email and I got you. Get your bug bracelets today. 1 for 10, 2 for 15, 3 for 20. Even though the super chat, I only get 70%. So I'll take care of it. Captain Kenneth. The 225's in the chat tonight. I hope so. Wait, Tony, you're a Shreveport Tiger too? That is right. The Master Blaster is a Shreveport Tiger. Mr. Jesus Shreveport Tiger too. I love it. I freaking love it. Shout out to the Terrace Marshalls. Shout out to the Greedy Williams. My Shreveport Tigers are in the building. My Monroe Tigers are in the building. Shout out to Will Blackwell. Monroe Tigers are in the building. Omarian Miller, recent LSU commit, is as North Louisiana as it gets. He's so North Louisiana that his drive to Fayetteville would be about the same drive as it is to Baton Rouge, about an hour's difference. It is amazing, like, how much it matters that LSU is the only show in the state, right? Because North Louisiana has some good football players. Most of LSU's players come from South Louisiana, but there's quite a few North Louisiana Tigers out there. Obviously, Devin White. Oh, Mr. G, you're West Monroe. Morris Claiborne. Yeah, Mr. EJ, I actually like a 16 playoff. I think that would be the best. Creek with the super chat. Tranya, we actually did bring that up earlier. I have no idea what happened. Wait, let me see, Roger. I had a glitch a few minutes ago. Let me see your question. All right. Supply and demand, you pay for premium. Let me see if I missed your question, Roger. I got your, let's see. Roger, send it again. I'll answer it for you, my guy. Let's see. Oh, you sent it on Venmo. My bad. Thank you, Jared, for the super chat. Shout out to Colt. Let's pull this up right here. Don't forget, guys, I need to know who my fantasy football fans are in here. We got some really cool things heading your way, getting to play fantasy football with me. So this is a good question here from Roger. How different is the game planning to have a left-handed quarterback in the backfield versus a right-handed quarterback? Okay? That's a really good question, Roger. All right, so the first thing is the ball does spin differently. So you saw one thing at the end with Max Johnson at quarterback. LSU had a lot of bad drops, okay? So the ball does spin a little differently. It does take some time to get used to, but you still got to catch a football, right? So that's the first thing. I don't think that's too much to worry. They've gotten a ton of reps now with Max. The second thing is obviously your right and left tackle switches to being the blindside quarterback. So now Austin Deculus is your right tackle. You know what's very interesting, and I'm glad you brought this up, Roger. I would not be opposed to doing this, okay? And maybe Brad Davis thinks about doing this. So, as you guys know, on this channel, I've been critical of Chasen Hines at right guard. He just wasn't good last season, and it was to the point where it was costing LSU games. And I was shocked that LSU never took him out. And they put Cam Wire in the game against Florida just because Chasen Hines got hurt. And Cam Wire played phenomenally at right guard against Florida. So I don't know why they waited so long to make that move. One thing that I would be very interested in is trying out Chasen Hines at left guard and Ed Ingram at right guard, because Chasen Hines at left guard was really good when he played in 2018 and 2019. Now, that was very sparingly. He wasn't the starter either season at that position, but he played more left guard, and he also played some center. I don't know what it is. Right guard just is not his thing. So, to that point, Roger, I would not be opposed to Brad Davis trying some new guys out at different positions. So what we do know, based on what Ed Orgeron said this morning in his interview, that Garrett Dellinger is going to play. At some point, he's going to play. And we also know that Cam Wire is still battling for that left tackle position. But as of right now, the offensive line is going to stay the same way. So the left tackle is going to be Cam. Your left guard is going to be Ed. Your center is going to be Liam. Your right guard is going to be Chasen Hines or Anthony Bradford. I would prefer Bradford. And then your right tackle is going to be Deculus. That's the biggest change from a right-hander to a left-hander, okay? Is your blind side becomes right or left. There's different studies on if the blind side tackle is more important than the non-blind side tackle. And, it's interesting. Patrick Mahomes, his best tackle over the past couple of seasons has been his right tackle. So, yeah, it honestly just comes down to both your tackles being great. Outside of that, though, Roger, I don't know if too much changes from a left-hander to a right-hander quarterback. I don't think so. Obviously, Max is really good at rolling out to his left. He's just really good at it. So that is a little bit different because your rollouts do change a little bit with certain types of quarterbacks, but really, honestly, outside of that, there's not a whole lot of difference. So let me know if that answered your question, okay, Roger? So we'll see. King Alyssa says they need to play Deculus at guard. That would solve the inside problem. This has been brought up a lot. Not only you, Carvis, and a few others. Look, I like Austin Deculus a lot. Can he pull? Is he a guy that's fleet of foot enough to pull at right tackle? LSU doesn't pull their offensive tackles a lot. And for those that don't know, pulling is when you run a play to one side of the field and your guard or tackle pulls to the other side and blocks to the opposite side of the formation. So, yeah, we'll see. If you play offensive guard, you obviously would have to pull a lot. So we'll see if that actually is work, if that is something. Let's see. Cam Wire was not good against Auburn and Texas A&M. Yeah, the Auburn game was rough for Cam. I would say this, though, to defend him, that's a tough spot to be put in. And that was actually on Dare Rosenthal. Once again, Dare Rosenthal let a lot of people down. He let a lot of teammates down. He let a state down. He just did. Even if the rules stink, he let a lot of people down. And he played, to me, arguably the most valuable position. Because LSU's not deep on the offensive line. I feel fine with Cam at left tackle, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Deculus at right guard, Dellinger at right tackle. We could get to the point, though, where Garrett Dellinger is starting. Obviously, LSU would like to see Marcus Dumervil step up, Cardell Thomas step up, Anthony Bradford has gotten a lot of love at that right guard position, so we'll see. What's the deal with Dumervil? I don't know, Mr. EJ. The spring game was very meh for Dumervil. There were some good moments. I don't think he's ready, though. Xavier Hill. Marlon Martinez is a guy to look out for at right guard as well. Jared's down for some fantasy. I like that, man. Jonathan, you love some fantasy football? Okay. Well, y'all stay tuned. Exactly, Carvis. It was interesting. Now, once again, the left guard is just so much different in the 2018 offense. But even in 2019, when he played left guard, he was fine. Wait, has this poll not updated? Let's see. My poll is not updated. Let me see. It says here I only have 7 votes in this poll. Sometimes these polls don't. Let's see if I can. Okay, there we go. Well, it said, what? It goes back to 7 votes on mine. Yeah, well, that was the thing. I thought Jason Hines was going to be the center last season. Let's see. Ed Ingram is so talented. He would be great on either side, but he's a great left guard. Yeah, what's interesting? Ed will have some plays where he mows this guy down. And there are some other plays where he just gets dominated. It's very strange. Consistency is going to be so key for him this next season. But we'll see. We'll see. I think he'll get a Senior Bowl invite. In fact, I think he's already been invited to the Senior Bowl. Updates weren't in the new budget. Exactly. Big Al, I'm not ignoring you tonight. Actually, I should be ignoring you, Big Al, because you have granddaughter duty. Okay, you guys know this. Some of our old school PHLers, you granddads have an important role. Okay, you don't have the kid, but you only have him for a little bit, so you better focus in, Big Al. Huh? And you have not provided your dad joke of the night. Tevin, where have you been, Tevin? Tevin, can we talk for a minute? Okay. Half of you probably got that reference. 'Cause I want to know you. That's still the greatest song of all time. Of all time. I only know the chorus, so. Kyle says, I'm cautiously optimistic about our offensive line. Look, Brad Davis might be the next Dante Sarnacchia. You never know. You never know. You're getting $830K a year? There you go, JJ. I love it. So, yeah, it's interesting. Reed says we just need the tabula rasa of the offensive line. Got to pay for premium. What's up, Michael? Good to hear from you, man. The Tevin Campbell. You got to know about it, baby. Garrett Dellinger, Ed Ingram, Charles Turner, Anthony Bradford, and Xavier Hill. I like that. I know, Jared. I just brought it soft, man. This is not karaoke. It's not karaoke. Huh? Bama has a plug-and-play roster. Helps out that Bama has Evan Neal, to be honest. Evan Neal's good. He's really good. Guys, I'm also going to share this. Nick has been a little quiet. Look, as far as recruiting is concerned, I think for me, because I get a lot of messages about Jacoby Mathews. And look, he's really good. This is not a scenario where you just say no to him, right? Just because he's rethinking things. But it does bear mentioning that 5-star recruits have way more leverage than every other recruit that's out there. Okay? And look, we saw, and Nick, you probably know more about this than I do because you keep up with everyone. I saw a 5-star corner decommit from Ohio State. We saw Jacoby Mathews decommit. We saw Bear Alexander, a 5-star DL, decommit from Georgia. And we just saw a 5-star recruit forego his senior season to go to the next level. Okay? So understand that Jacoby Mathews decommitting is different than Marcus Scott decommitting or whoever. When you're a 5-star recruit, you have all the leverage, knowing that every school will not only take you, every school will boot someone out of their current class for you to be a part of their class. So you're just playing your leverage, okay? Jacoby Mathews wasn't as locked in as Will Campbell and Walker Howard, the other 5-stars. They're really locked in. They're really putting into work to recruit other guys for the class. And Will Campbell's been driving everywhere in the state of Louisiana. I mean, who's paying for this kid's gas? I mean, I feel bad for his car. I mean, his car is going to have miles on miles on miles on it. I mean, Will Campbell needs an NIL deal with Enterprise, all the miles he's putting on his car. I mean, my goodness gracious. I hope when Will Campbell gets to Baton Rouge, he gets a Hollingsworth deal, okay? Because this dude is driving everywhere to do some recruiting. But guess what? Every kid has their own path, and kids are going to decommit. If you're a 5-star, you can go wherever you want. Bucci, what's good? But, I do think Jacoby Mathews will be a part of LSU. 5-star Louisiana kids go to LSU. Some don't. You have your Cam Robinsons. You have your Landon Collins. All the power to them. Those two turned out to be really good. LSU was just fine. And look, some kids like that dopamine hit. Some kids like the attention being on them. Here's what I think the next thing is going to be in recruiting. And this doesn't make any sense. If I was a recruit, 90% of recruits, all right, and I'm going to keep making this point because when you say this aloud, this lets you know how ridiculous recruiting coverage actually is. 90% of recruits, this is the biggest your star is ever going to be, right? We never talk about any current player at length as much as we do about certain recruits that may or may not even come to the school. I thought about this last year, how many videos I did on Corey Foreman. Now, he could end up being Warren Sapp or Jadeveon Clowney, I don't know. He decided to go to USC. Good for him. But are we ever going to talk about Corey Foreman the same way that we talked about him last year? Now, if he becomes like Kayvon Thibodeau and lives up and exceeds the expectations, then yeah. But even then, we can argue that we talked about Kayvon Thibodeau more before he ever got to Oregon than him now, and he could arguably be the number one pick in next year's NFL draft. It's pretty insane how big of a star you become when you're a recruit. And then whenever you get to the school, unless you become exceptional, nobody cares. No one cares about you anymore. And that is a hard thing for 17 and 18-year-old kids to do. That is essentially what happened with Jacoby Mathews. Whenever he committed to LSU, he was locked in, and he was even doing some radio interviews, and he was ready to go. But you lose that mystery. And for some recruits, they want to open things back up. So we'll see. And look, I understand Jared's my friend. He's been following us for a while. I used to actually be like Jared. Okay, I'm dead serious. I used to do a podcast with T-Bob, and the only thing that we said before we did the podcast was our current jobs. All right, he was still doing radio, I think, with WWL, and I was doing radio with someone else. Our rules were we're not going to talk about recruiting, because recruiting in and of itself is kind of a crazy thing to cover. A lot of you are like Jared. You don't give a rip about the kids until they actually sign pen to paper. I used to be like that as well, and I'm not going to lie, it was a less stressful life. But it's really hard to run a college football channel if you don't talk some recruiting. And I like it. I like the evaluation of it. I like seeing kids make choices about their dreams. But understand that it is wild. So what I would do if I was a high school recruit right now, I would be selling sponsorships for my high school announcement for when I go to college. And the reason why I would do that now is you could make a lot of money off of that. From now on, if I'm a high school recruit and I'm making an announcement after my senior year football year is over, I'm selling my announcement rights to the highest bidder. I'm not giving it away for free. It's a crazy reality. Exactly, JJ. Nick wants to talk some Jack Bash. Yeah, we're a big Jack Bash channel. All right, Reed. We'll see you, man. I stayed up way too late watching USA basketball last night. It was a good game, though. Yeah, the Auburn game is no excuse. That should never happen. Jesse wants to talk tight end. Okay. Alan, I agree and disagree with that. I do. I think the SEC actually got better last season. Kenneth, Captain, you're a student at LSU. You're also new to the channel. I don't think I gave you a proper welcome earlier. So everyone welcome Captain Kenneth. What year are you at LSU? I lived in McVoy dorm my freshman year. Jack Bash. Third year at LSU. That's cool, man. Yeah, I lived in McVoy, and then I lived in WCA. Then I lived in WCA again. Then I went to Washington, D.C. That was a wild time. Yeah, McVoy was tough. If you want a quick story, and we'll get back into LSU football. So my freshman year, they built a Taco Bell right next door to the dorm that I lived in midway through the semester. So the first semester, there really wasn't a freshman 15. But that second semester, when Taco Bell was legit a stone throw away, it was legit 10 yards away from our dorm. And they had like a cheap tacos if you use your student cash or whatever, Tiger Cash or Paul Points. Watching, and I ballooned some. But some kids got chunky. I'm telling you. But yes, McVoy was crazy. I've watched all kinds of drug bust. McVoy was just ratchet, to say the least. Those small rooms. Yeah. Jason, what's good? I would consider Hines at center and kick Liam to guard. I'd give it a shot, Christian. See if it works out. Might be a little too late for that, though. And if you were going to do that, I would have tried it some during the spring. And I'm not sure if LSU actually did that. But yes, I think Jack Bash will be your tight end. Look, I like Cole Taylor a lot. I do think blocking was an issue for him. And if blocking is going to be and there were some plays where Cole Taylor blocked fine. There were other plays where it was just not good at all. If you're not going to be an elite blocker, I would rather the better pass catching option be on the field. So we'll see. But yeah, we can make a case that the SEC got better last year. LSU didn't. But the SEC overall did get better. Let's go to Cody. Not clicking that pin like you're sweating a super chat. Cody, I appreciate you. If that's the case. Thank you, Cody, for your support, man. I really appreciate you. But yeah. Let's see. But Captain, to answer your question before Cody asked his question, because you are new. Let's see. We got to your question about students on campus. So look, Captain, I'm not an epidemiologist. I won't pretend to be. But yeah, we got to do better. We've got to do better. Louisiana is surging right now. I was supposed to be visiting some family this next weekend, and it's not looking good right now. Things aren't looking good, and I would do anything to get fans back in the stadium, but we all have to do our part. So yeah, it's got to be key. Devin, I do have some Devin White cards. Not many, though. I am lacking on my Devin White collection. It is kind of weird, though, because I do my best friend in the card collecting community. He comes in here sometimes. My guy Andy at Fantasy Football Card Quest, and he's actually a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, and he's kind of become a big LSU fan. Because of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We run that team, right? So, yeah, he actually has – I gave all my Leonard Fournette and and Devin White cards to him. Let's see. Captain, since you're the newbie, I'm letting you run the chat for a little bit before Cody gets his question in. Oh, you haven't seen Z yet? Well, Z hasn't made her appearance yet. Well, let's get her on here. We'll get her on here in a second. Okay. Let's see. We'll get her on right now. Yeah, Tevin. I'll work on getting one for you, my man. Let's see. Do you think the norm of QBs playing early, Trevor Lawrence, Tua, will affect players like Walker, Nuss expecting to play early and possibly transferring? That's a good question. So the first thing is, yeah, quarterbacks now are going to be more apt. What's up, Carl the Cat? So for those that don't know, Carl the Cat is a legendary LSU fan, as in he goes to every sporting event. He's actually one of the most loyal LSU baseball fans that are out there. Let me get this video for you. For you, Captain, since you're an LSU student. There we go. So I want you to watch this video here, Captain. And this shows you the Carl, I'm doing good, man. This actually shows you a crazy stat. And what this video, Captain, shows is that there's never been an LSU quarterback in the modern era who succeeded, who became the full-time starter before year 3 of their development. Every single one. It is the only quarterback stat that has correlated to near 100%, well, actually full 100% certainty. So Cody, here you go. Cody actually super chatted. Cody has been off the chat for a while, and she's been wanting to see, he wants to see Z. There we go. And let's say hi to Z. She's acting better tonight for now. There you go. You brought a toy tonight. She's not gonna take her ball? She want her ball?
I have it in my finger, so she'll just sit here and chew on it. Because there's a hole in it, remember?
Oh, there's a hole in it.
She doesn't like you very much. And actually,
she got And what's that? Is he? Ah, my nose. She got my nostril. That's true, Creek.
Hey, everybody.
Does everyone say hi to Hey and Z?
Hey.
All right, Cody, let me know what you think of Z. You super chatted. Carter, I've been in summer hibernation. What's that? Is he?
Hold on. There you go.
There you go. Front and center. She always like,
crap.
How you doing, baby?
She giving bigger sugar.
She always licks where bugs. Oh man, those puppy teeth are
They're
vicious.
Like razors.
Oh my god.
Does anybody have a tranquilizer?
Oh gosh, she bit onto my sideburn.
That's why I've been telling you to shave them for months.
Yeah, well, of course, Creek. Oh
God.
Oh crap. She got that. Z, stop.
She didn't mean to, Daddy.
Z.
There you go. Y'all can see her good there. Move. Woo, 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 woo.
Z's starting to enjoy the camera. This was a lot better than this weekend.
Yeah, look at her. Look at her.
It took Bug a little while.
Go, Mama. Go.
Well, while we take this Z break, Guys, I got some good news as far as the fantasy football stuff is concerned. We're looking pretty good. We're going to have the potential, and actually Z is going to be involved with the fantasy football league. And guess what? All of you are going to get an opportunity to play. So besides the deaths, it should help the wide receiver timing. That's a good point, Bruce. Jesse, it's a good question. Would you rather have an elite tight end or wide receiver? Jesse, that's a little complicated. Okay, so take the Kansas City Chiefs, for instance, where they have an elite, they have arguably the best receiver and the best tight end. Is Travis Kelce really a tight end, though? I don't know. He's more of a slot wide receiver. George Kittle's a little bit more of like a traditional tight end, per se. Based on Pro Football Focus has a stat called wins above average, and a wide receiver is the second most valuable position in college football. Okay. So, LSU brings in 4 or 5 wide receivers every class for a reason now. They give you the most value. So I would probably say an elite wide receiver, a true field stretcher. So obviously, Jamar Chase. But yeah. After watching what Pitts did for Florida last year, I'm going with tight end. And that's true. That's true. But yeah. I just got a tweet here that one of the bars in Tigerland is on fire right now. That's wild. The House? Is that what they call that place now? It's from Jared Roser. I want to see it. Who lives in Baton Rouge? Does anyone here still go to Tigerland? Huh? Jess, you love the tight end position? But if you ask you this question, would I rather have, let's say, Randy Moss or Tony Gonzalez? I would much rather number 84. Now, don't set Fred's on fire. I had many fond memories at Fred's. Devin, do you live in BR? Well, Christian's in here. An actual LSU student. Jared with the dad joke of the night. Big Al, you have been replaced by Jared. But yes, I would much rather, an elite tight end over, let's say, like a middle of the road wide receiver. Captain, I hate it that Reggie's is still the punching bag of those bars down there, but I did see some downright nefarious activity in Reggie's. Out of all the Tigerland bars when I was there, I would say I had the least amount of fun at Reggie's. But Fred's, Big Al, you've been beaten. Bruce makes a good point here. Next year, Jake Johnson's going to be that guy, right? Mellow Mushroom? We got some Mellow Mushroom love in here? Wait, Reggie's has old dudes that go there, Captain? That's wild. I would not want to be caught in a Reggie's right now. I need to get back down to BR, though. If there's not murders. And Carl, you actually live in Baton Rouge. So, Carl, where do you go for your late night? Get out. I mean, dude, I remember, okay. A pretty fire spot in Baton Rouge, always Pluckers. Always Pluckers, man. They don't pay me a cent, and I'll happily put on for Pluckers. Freaking love that place. But Haley and I, our favorite restaurant is Phil's Oyster House. Those buffalo char-grilled oysters, unreal. And I also like in that same little shopping center, you have Phil's Oyster House, and you also have the Bulldog, which is a really fun bar. Carl, there's too many murders, even at the Bulldog? I wish, Kyle. I wish I had a Plucker sponsorship. Granted, I wish I had just any restaurant sponsorship. Master Blaster, it's too early for you to go to bed tonight. It is a Tuesday night live stream. And Tony, your bands have been shipped. So congratulations to you, Tony. Are you concerned with Coach O's comments about limiting Max Johnson due to QB depth? You kind of have to do that. Granted, I will say this. All right. I do think Max Johnson last season on design runs wasn't really that effective. Okay. Zone read is a little bit different because you have two different options. Design runs were not that good for him. And the reason why is because as a runner, Max is not explosive as a runner. Now, he is a good runner. There's a difference. So, yeah, I think limiting him is probably smart. But I also think I also think Max isn't as effective as, let's say, we brought this up in the film study earlier about, he's not Tim Tebow between the tackles. He's not Cam Newton. So, unless your quarterback is an elite athlete, I would limit the amount of design runs you run anyway. Exactly. You don't need designed runs per se. Exactly, John. That's a good way to say it. So yeah, I think design runs will be a part of the offense. I just don't think you should do it the same way if, let's say, Ryan Perrilloux was your quarterback or whoever. So yeah, I'm saying less throws, not letting him get into his groove. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying, Max. As far as like the less amount of reps, maybe. I'll also say this. One thing that really hurt Max Johnson last season was Cold Taylor. So Max Johnson was the quarterback when Cold Taylor. So it went. Max Johnson never got to play with Derek Gilbert. Okay, so Max Johnson's 2 starts coincided with the only 2 games that Cold Taylor started. And Cold Taylor gave up some bad misses in pass protection and just misses in general blocking that ruined the timing of a lot of plays. So, I can understand Ed Orgeron being very conservative when, you don't feel comfortable with your protection, because there were some plays last year where Max Johnson got obliterated. And it is a little bit scarier now that you're down to 2 quarterbacks before a 13-team season begins. This is a little bit different because obviously Myles Brennan got hurt early in the season last year, but that was only a 10-game season. And let's be honest, after the second loss, the ship had kind of sailed. Okay. So, yeah, it was a little different. Michael B., you're a North Louisiana guy too? Mm. About an hour from Monroe. That's cool. Michael, you in Ruston? You know what, Tevin? My mom said that. She went to Southern Pearl recently. They said that is fire. Farmerville. They have the #1 running back in Louisiana for class of 2023. You in plain dealing? You know, I guess we're just a North Louisiana chat. What about you, Bruce? Where are you from? Carl's holding it down in Baton Rouge. Tevin's holding it down in Baton Rouge. Tevin, just for those that want, Tevin was the one who started the fire in Tigerland tonight. Oak Grove, state champs. H-Town. Okay, we're going to do this. We haven't done this in a while. Where's everybody from in here? Graylin, you're a BR kid? Okay. Shout out where you're from. Max is in New York. Let's go. I love it, Max. Oh, you're in California right now, Tevin? Let's go to the Rose Bowl, my guy. Where is Raceland? Michael, you're in Atlanta? There you go. JJ, let me look at, for those that were part of the last live stream, a few of you have asked about JJ Steaks. So let me take a look at this again, JJ. Let's see. All right, everybody. We need to. Dang, JJ, you took the blurriest photo of all time of your steaks. All right. Let me get JJ's first photos of these steaks. Okay. These were JJ's before steaks right here. Okay. All right, everybody. These were JJ's steaks before. All right. This is very important chat information. Okay. And JJ, I love the fact that you wrote "Let's Go" on here. That's big time right there. Freaking love that. So those were JJ steaks. All right. And these are the after JJ steaks. What do y'all think? Does that look like a good steak for you? I'm not going to lie. Steak is a little overrated. A little overrated. All right, everyone. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you guys think about JJ steaks? 1 to 10. 10 being the best. Louisiana is the largest parish, Arkansas. Raceland is 12 miles. Oh, my best friend is from Homa. Max, you gave JJ a 7 out of 10 for his steaks? Max, you're a New Yorker. Music gives JJ a 6.5 out of 10 for his steaks? Really? Max Johnson sounds like a porn name. Graylin, you gave JJ, people are flaming your steaks right now. What is up? What is JJ? You guys, you don't even know JJ. You could have just said they look good. I'll give it a 9. But JJ, the lowest, I'm not a hater. I am not a hater. Okay. It's everyone else. King, you said, not since he fancier than bake. No, I don't, JJ. Me and Haley are going to meet you at some point and go have steaks in Shreveport. Okay? We're still holding you up on that. Jared gives it a 7.9. Creek said, look, I am looking out for my fellow Shreveport native here. Captain Kenneth, you are a college student, okay? Your opinion on food does not matter. If you're a college student, you have not eaten good food, okay? I'm sorry, Captain Kenneth. You can't come in the chat for the first time. I can let Graylin give a hard grade. Graylin's been around here for a while. Graylin has super chatted a ton of times, okay? If Graylin gives it a 6, it's fine. But Captain Kenneth, I was a college student as well. I was like you. I ate ramen every single week, okay? That was good to me. You have no taste buds in college. You have no, and Captain Kenneth, I've answered every single one of your questions, okay? But college kids cannot. You eat Taco Bell or that's what you eat, okay? You cannot have an opinion on fine steaks, okay? You just can't. I'm kidding, Captain. But for real, you give that a 5? Captain Kenneth, you give it a 5. A 5 out of 10. I'm telling you, North Louisiana guys stick together. Feel it crazy? I'm not going to disagree with you, but for your first comment ever, to say Max Johnson sounds like a porn name, Fear the Crazy, that I guess I can kind of see it, but for that to be your first comment ever is pretty bold. So Fear the Crazy, from this point forward, I'll forever know you as the porn name guy. Max Johnson. Born in Illinois, now live in Thibodeau. Pujols Clark 22. Thank you, Roger. It's not that steak is bad, but I'm telling you, I've had a lot of bad steak, right? I just think pork chops are underrated. Salmon is very underrated. Steaks are slightly overrated. I think there's just too many bad steaks out there. And honestly, I don't like the fact that we have to specify how we want our steaks to be cooked. That's a lot of pressure on the consumer of the meal, right? Go Tigers. I'm not going to lie. I like a good burger, man. And you can get really good burgers for like a third of the price of a steak. Jared, you can't let that happen. You just got back from Yuma, Jared, and you're back in Mobile, Alabama. You can't let your kids run the household. You got to say, look, kids, this dude in a tiger shirt is more important than Dora the Explorer. Okay, you've got to run the household, Jared. Exactly, Michael. And Tevin, we got in a fight. Tevin, you and I got in a fist fight. Okay, and you got the best last name of all time. Tevin and I got in a virtual fist fight over this. Salmon is not overrated. Lobster is indeed overrated because lobster is just so daggum expensive. I'm just not a lobster or crab guy. I think lobster rolls is the most overrated thing I've ever heard in my life. Lobster rolls are not good. They'll just choke you. Yes. Captain, you get a burger? I love it. I was just joking with you a minute ago. I like you now, Captain. Lobster is overrated, though. Crab over lobster, I agree. Lobster is overrated. Lobster mac is pretty solid. I had that for the national championship game. Jared, don't let those kids run the household, man. You just got back from Yuma, my guy. Esteban, what's good, man? Ugh. Well, let me see. Boiled crabs. I don't like things I got to work to eat. So, Roger, are you not a crawfish guy? Noel is a part of our New York chapter. You and Max Kalina, and Noel are the New York PHL chapter presidents. No, by the way, you are one of the few people that signed up for my old newsletter. I actually did just start a new one. I remember Noel for doing that. I appreciate you, Noel. For you Louisiana fans out here, I pulled this card out earlier too. How cool would it have been to see this guy play at LSU? It would have been weird though, because if he would have gone to LSU, we would have never have had Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But I do like Etienne. I'm not gonna lie. I'm interested to see what his little brother is going to do. Is there a difference between rock lobster? So, JJ, when me and Haley come, are you going to cook steaks or where are we going? Well, actually, don't tell me. Don't tell me where we're going. There you go, Noel. You already signed up. I like it, Dan. Noel is one of those New York guys. He loves a good newsletter. Yeah, Max, that's tough. I mean, if we're being honest, I mean, Etienne was a better player. Okay. Etienne's one of the best running backs of all time. But Etienne never had an Alabama game. He had some dominant games, but he never had the Alabama game. I mean, Clyde's Alabama game is just so superhuman. It really is. And, you know, Etienne never had a game that good. I'll tell you this, Etienne had a good game against us. And, you know, this is a really good question, Max. You want to talk about the most underrated play in LSU history. A play that we never talk about, okay, was there was a screenplay that Clemson ran midway through the third quarter. Okay, so Clemson scored, and we're going to do a piece on this next week. So be on the lookout for this. So LSU historically has not been a good third quarter team. Well, in recent history, especially under Ed Orgeron, they've not been a good third quarter team, and we did not have a good third quarter against Clemson. So Clemson scored early. We almost had a pick six, which would have given Clemson the lead. They dropped a pick six. And they also had a screen play, a perfectly called screen pass. Tony Elliott, who had a rough game overall, called a screen to Etienne. And the wide receiver for Clemson, number 8, Kane, missed an easy block on Patrick Queen. And if he would have made that block, Etienne would have scored a touchdown. Patrick Queen avoided the block and made the tackle. If he didn't make that tackle, that would have been a 60-yard touchdown for Etienne, and they would have had the lead. It's the most underrated play from, the national championship season, and it was one of the many plays Patrick Queen made in that game. And that tackle was so huge. And on that play, Christian Fulton deserves a lot of credit because he squeezed the play down and forced it back inside, which gave Patrick Queen enough time to make the tackle. It's truly one of the iconic plays that we never talk about. And, it's, you think about those things like that. But Etienne, we really had an issue with him. He's an all-time great. So, yeah, he had an overall better career. Clyde's junior season, though, was as good as any of Etienne's seasons. Yeah, overall talent, like if you were to ask me right now, which running back would I rather have in the NFL, I would take Etienne. He's a better athlete, but if you're to ask me who's a better fit for Kansas City's offense, Clyde fits what they do really well. Here's another good example. Clyde wouldn't fit in Tampa Bay's offense, and Leonard Fournette wouldn't necessarily fit in Kansas City's offense, right? So, so much of your running backs now, it comes down to scheme fit. It really does. But yes, Clyde's vision was so unbelievable. And, the one thing that we have learned over this past year is Clyde was so valuable to the 2019 team. And yes, our highest offensive output, our best offensive game was the Oklahoma game, and Clyde wasn't fully healthy. Chris Curry was able to roll. But I think that would have been more of an outlier. I don't think we would have beaten Alabama without Clyde. We wouldn't have beaten Auburn without Clyde. I don't think we would have beaten Florida without Clyde. Because the drop-off between Clyde and the next running back was pretty huge. So we'll see. Yeah, and ironically, Christian Fulton apparently is really having a good offseason here. So that's obviously really good to hear. Oh, my God. Z, you're being bad. Z. Huh? Captain, you're not crazy at all. You're, yeah. If you say that, call me crazy. You better be saying something out there. You're just saying something that everyone is for sure going to agree with. Call me crazy. But Joe Burrow is good at football. I'm just messing with you, Captain. I shouldn't mess. I always say this, okay? I shouldn't jab new viewers, okay? Because I understand. But Captain, it sounds like you can. It sounds like you can. It sounds like you could take it. All right, I just talked about your food takes a minute ago. But yeah. Oh man. Flip Etienne and Clyde's teams. Which one would have had the better season? I don't know, Jared. It is so tough. they're such different. They're such different running backs. They really are. Oh, you encourage it? Okay, Captain. That's good. That's good, man. I used to not be that way. Well, actually, no. I don't think I've ever taken. I would used to take things personally, but not like be vocal about it. Some people can't take things personally. Oh, okay, Noel. The New York chapter president, along with Max. Carter, it's been a while since I've been able to join a live chat, but make it happy to see you so grinding and keeping us up to date on everything LSU. No, Noel. You are an inspiration. I'm going to come see you and Max in New York at some point. We're talking about setting up a little comedy thing in New York. I'd love to come back up there, man. I love New York, man. It's legit one of the best cities on the planet. Is he in there being bad? Is he in there being bad? No, thank you so much. And no, you get to pick the next topic. So no, whatever you want to talk about, let me know. Or if you just want to keep the chat moving, we'll happily move along. My birthday is in November, and I asked my family to send me to an LSU game. So Noel, have you never been to an LSU game? It is interesting, right? For those of you in the chat that have gotten to go to an LSU game before, you're lucky. I think people that have gone to plenty LSU games tend to take it for granted. I did. I'm not going to lie. I did. I took it for granted. And, it stinks. LSU games are just so much fun. This team that we care about every single day of the year, it's wild. What's that? Yeah? Yeah? I miss the tailgating too. Max, you're going to be in Houston for the LSU versus Bama game? What are you doing in Houston? So you are from, yeah. Here's the thing, Noel. You got to go, man. You got to go. And, that's why, I know it's been a while and it would be a little hard to plan the trip now. But I honestly think Central Michigan would be a really good game to go to. The tickets are not going to be overly expensive. And it's a for sure night game. And there is a big difference between a night game and a day game. Now, day games are still awesome, but night games are where it's at. And here's the thing, okay? And this is going to sound crazy, but here we go. I would prefer to go to a night game at LSU against a non-Power 5 team than go to a day game versus Kentucky or whoever. Night games are just that much better. They really are, but all games are great. Max, you're going to a wedding? Congratulations. Esteban goes every year, 12 years, 12 hours. Esteban, did you go to a game last year? Let me ask this question. How many of you have gone to how many of you went to a game last year? Yeah, Michael, here's the thing. It didn't make any sense, okay? I saw some of the comments on that. I haven't been able to respond to most of those comments because I have been really busy setting up this fantasy football stuff. I think a lot of you are going to like it. Also, I've been really busy just, it's getting all these videos ready. These film studies like the one we did earlier take a lot of time. I I reach out to different coaches and they help me. And I read some of the comments and I didn't say anything that no other media member didn't say. Okay. It is good that Max Johnson is going to get all the reps leading up to the game. And it's good for Max Johnson, for Jake Peets to be able to focus in on a game plan that is tailored to Max Johnson. Max Johnson can't run the type of offense that Myles Brennan runs. Myles Brennan can't do vice versa. But I get it, Michael. Once again, when you do stand-up comedy for 3 or 4 years like I have, you begin to develop a thicker skin than most people. A lot of things don't bother you, okay? So many things don't bother me the same way as they used to when I did stand-up. That's probably the biggest thing I ever learned from stepping on a stage was not taking things personally. And in the video, I led the video off with this sucks for Myles Brennan and it sucks for LSU, but it is good for Max Johnson. In the same way it was good for Tom Brady when Drew Bledsoe went down and so on and so on. So yeah, I don't take any of that personally. I really don't. But yeah. Tube steak? Crazy. You are crazy. I'm not going to lie. I went to a Saints game in Atlanta. That would be kind of fun. Jared said I only went to one game in Gainesville. Yeah, Jared, I did too. I went to the 2008 game in Gainesville. And when I tell you it was the most hellacious time of my life, I really do mean that. I did not like Gainesville. I got to do a full day of tailgate. It just wasn't for me. But, you know, to each their own. Yeah, I know, Michael, but, you know, some people take things personally. Some people come to a video wanting to be mad. And I never do anything to enrage anyone. But, you know, I try my best to title the video the best ways I can. Apparently, Z bit hey. Goodness gracious, Z. Leonard, I don't know if you're in here, but yeah, this teething stuff is just wild. Yeah, you see, Crick, you're able to double dip there. King, you see, you live in Mile High, so you get to go to NFL games. Oh, y'all hear hey in the background yelling at Z? It sounds sketch, I should say, when Hay's in the background yelling. I'm just so used to it now because I yell sometimes when Z bites the living daylights out of me as well.
Where you going?
She's so bad. I need to get soundproof walls. Who was it that got mad at me for not having any swag on my walls? We do need to update this before the season begins. Here's the thing. I actually don't have a TV in this room either.
You see where she made me bleed again?
Yeah.
Stop.
Y'all hear that? Do you hear Z growling? Z, you've got to calm down. When tailgating at 2019 LSU versus Bama, and those fans do be really salty. Oh, Christian got to go to that game, but I went to the Alabama game in 2008. No, actually 2000. I went to 2009 Bama. I went to 2011 Bama. And I went to a third one at Bama, I think. Tuscaloosa's okay. There's been a lot of this chatter about best SEC cities. Baton Rouge is great. I wouldn't say it's the best. I wouldn't say it's the worst, though. I've been to a lot of NFL games. I've never been to an NFL game not in the Superdome. I don't know. I'm just not. I love the NFL. It's just not my. I mean, the gap between watching NFL football on TV compared to NFL football at home is just so big. It's just so much better at home, especially with like fantasy and all of that. Because I really do like fantasy a lot. I'm not a fantasy expert, like the same way I feel I'm an expert at just LSU football. That's a cool comment right there, Captain. Noel says, we hear it. He's got to calm down. Still in the puppy phase, though. I mean, she's not like murdering us. Well, all right, guys, we are approaching 2 hours here. So normally when we get to this spot, I'm always down to wrap it up and move along. But as always, your super chats, if you continue to super chat, we'll stay here all night long. It's always a rule with me and Hey. Robert! Oh, God, Robert, I was thinking about you earlier in the chat. Right when we were saying that, Robert jumps in. Our cancer warrior, Robert, representing Houston, Texas. Max is going to be in Houston for the LSU-Bama game. Robert! The king of PHL is back. What's good, Ra? Roberto! The king of PHL is in the building. Robert, good to have you back, my man. For those that don't know, Robert, it's hard for him to chat, knowing all the chemo and everything that he's going through. But every time we get to see Robert, he gets to roll the chat. He gets to run things. God bless you, Robert. I'll tell you guys are huge fans of Robert on this channel. T-Town, not that overrated? It's okay. But Robert, good to have you, man. Dang, I always get emotional when Robert comes in, man. It's so cool, to connect with people like that, man. It's so cool. It's dope. Hope you're feeling better, Robert. I know you get that message all the time, but go on. You're the man, Robert. Coming in hot. Big Al. Big Al showing love to Robert. I was trying to remember who asked me about you a while back. I think King Ulysses did. Or someone did. I'm trying to remember. And Robert, we also know you were a big Myles Brennan fan. I feel bad for him too, man. Look, like I said earlier, part of who you are as an athlete, it does matter that you keep your body healthy. Okay? Whatever happened, the big rumor now is falling downstairs. I don't know. I ain't even said that. I don't like saying anything. Even if I say it's just a rumor, I mean, you just got to be really careful. You got to be really careful if you're a quarterback because you're so valuable to the team. And we are 1 month from college football. And that'll make anyone feel better. 1 month from college football. Good to have you, Robert. So it was funny. I was right when I was saying that. Robert just dropped it. Michael B, inspired by Robert. First time to super chat to anyone ever. Thank you so much, Michael B. I really appreciate that, my man. And I appreciate your comment a minute ago, Michael B, about people taking things too serious. Once again, life is too short to be taking things too serious. And it sucks for Myles Brennan. It sucks for LSU that he's hurt. So, yeah, we'll talk some about Myles Brennan. I still think Myles Brennan can come back this season. I still do. I'm not ready to say it's the end. It's going to be really hard for him to come back. but it would be very nice to have him back. Now, for Myles Brennan personally, probably not the smartest thing for him personally because he would get a medical hardship and it would still allow him 2 years of eligibility. So yeah, it's very interesting. He's been injured 3 times now, back, arm, and ab. True. But, you can make this case as well. At least it was his non-throwing arm. At least it wasn't a leg injury. But we'll see. I would really like to see Myles back. I really would. But I do think it's one of those scenarios where if he does come back and play this season, it would only leave him with 1 year of eligibility left. So, it's just one of those weird middle ground things. You're right, Robert. The health of Max Johnson's going to be so key. Like, really key. As in, I hope he's not doing any trick shots with Brad. I'm kidding. Those trick shots are awesome. I'm not going to lie. I'm a big, bad Brad fan. Jared, I don't know. Once again, the rumor is that it was at a fishing camp. We don't know if it was on a boat. We don't know if it was in the camp. Jared, you know this better than I do. I have no idea what actually happens on fishing trips. I've been on one fishing trip before and I was scared to touch the bait. I don't know. I don't like touching fish, animals, wet things. Michael said I heard skiing. What like water skiing or I don't know. I would like to know though. What are the chances Brennan transfers to Ole Miss or Mississippi State? Ole Miss would not be or Mississippi State. He would actually fit in well with both of those offenses, right? So we know for sure Ole Miss is losing their quarterback, Matt Corral, to the draft next season, more than likely. So, he'd actually be a good fit there. If he's saying 2 more years, he might as well join the coaching staff. Yeah. True. Huh? What's interesting? I wonder. So I'll share this. So the guy. So I knew Todd Graves when I was in school. I met him a few times. He's really a nice dude. So Todd Graves, it was cool that he signed Myles Brennan, but he also signed, Spencer Rattler and so many other Canes athletes. I would love a sponsorship from Canes, not going to lie. But he also, and this was really interesting, he also got a sponsorship from Hollingsworth. I'm not going to lie, I owe Mike Hollingsworth so much gratitude. He hired me when I was a sophomore in college to work with his son. His son was a quarterback at U High, and I was his son's videographer. So I would video all his games and go over a few things, from my vantage point. Now, once again, I didn't say anything, crazy. He has way better coaches than I do, but Hollingsworth took care of me. I freaking love that man. And I've seen him a few times. I haven't talked to him in forever. But Mike he's just such a good dude. And I know he feels horrible for Myles Brennan, that this happened. I really do. All right, Big Al is free to chat. Granddaughter duty is done. Brandon Whedon. You know what, Max? Anytime you bring up Brandon Whedon, it's a sore subject because we should have played Oklahoma instead of Alabama in the rematch, right? So here's the funny thing about that Oklahoma State team. If you go back and watch that kick versus Iowa State, that kick was good. I have never understood this. That kick was good, okay? I feel bad for Brandon Whedon and Justin Blackman. That Oklahoma State team was good. Yeah, Alabama was better. I agree. Alabama was better. And Alabama was arguably better than our team. With that said, when you, and this is a danger of expanding the playoff. When you beat that team at their place under that much pressure, you should not be forced to rematch them. But it is what it is. Myles Brennan is Tate Martell. That's true, Esteban, but Myles Brennan hasn't. He's actually the opposite of Tate Martell. He actually was good, and he's not transferred. But he is Tate Martell because he's been in college forever. Yeah, Big Al, it is always interesting to know how Cooper Manning feels for himself. Like, they always say Cooper was a better athlete than the other two. But Cooper's done well. Like, he's in the media. He works for Colin Cowherd now. By the way, Colin, if you're watching this, hire your boy. I've worked for Colin for a week during Super Bowl week. But anyway, Cooper's had a successful media career. Exactly, King Ulysses. Would we have gotten the same love in a rematch? I think they would have. I think they would have. So, yeah. Well, we are not going to talk about 1-9-12 tonight. We're not going to get into 1-9-12. We've had a good night, everyone. Should I crack it now? I'm going to try. You know, whenever you say, I'm going to try and go to bed early, that means you're not going to bed until 4. Should I crack it? I actually like this flavor a lot. Watermelon flavor. Freaking love it. I'm not going to crack it. It would be interesting, though. I think LSU still would have got in. LSU's resume was so much better than Alabama's resume as well. And the 2011 team was so much better than the 2007 team. But the 2007 team will forever be remembered as national champions. And the 2011 team will be forgotten. Yeah, Jared, it doesn't exist. I'll tell you this. So my dad is not a cranky person, but after 1-9-12, oh man. Grant, you changed your avatar. Creek, you're going to bed? Creek, what are you talking about? Robert super chatted. We're going to be here all night. Big Al, man. You know I love you, but we shouldn't be talking about personal health issues on this chat. It is late. But you should reach out to Creek directly if you have questions about that. I know, Nick. I know. Roby. Jared, it was such a it's such, and here's the thing, right? We can't get too mad about 1-9-12. Honestly, we can't get too mad about it. All right. We've won 3 other national championships with 3 different coaches. We got very lucky to win 07. We've had more success than every other program in the SEC, not named Alabama. Okay. So we can't get too mad about it. You can't have too much, right? So, yeah. Leonard. Leonard, I shouted you out a minute ago. I don't remember what I said. Kind of, sort of, Tommy. I don't know what the I don't know exactly how the communication is going to work with that. Leonard's going salmon tonight. Michael, I'll do that for you. Can you give me a quick grade for the Pelicans offseason, B or C? I don't understand, Roby, for the life of me. King Ulysses, of course, you're a Lakers fan. My goodness gracious. You moved to Denver, King Ulysses. You should be a Jokic fan. You should be a Carmelo Anthony. Well, actually, Carmelo's with the Lakers now. You should be a Jamal Murray fan. Who else is on that? No, you should be a Ty Lawson fan. That was when the Nuggets wore those silky smooth baby blue uniforms. Who can't forget that Nuggets era, right? Where they legit had some of the coolest ball players of all time. They had Allen Iverson rock those jerseys. They had Carmelo Anthony. They had freaking Chris Birdman Anderson. Who remembers Birdman Anderson with the mohawk and the neck tat? Oh, Creek's in the recliner. Lakers will not win the championship next year. Yes, because Giannis is going back to back. J.R. Smith was on that Nuggets team. Who else is on that Nuggets team? Who remembers those silky smooth, light blue Denver Nuggets uniforms? Freaking love those uniforms. Freaking love it. Nate wore that too. 30 days, baby. Can't wait. But Michael, yes, I'll give you some quick NBA talk. We are past 2 hours. I like the Pelicans moves. I like Graham. I think he'll fit in well. I don't understand why there's this meltdown over Lonzo. Well, Zion wanted to keep Lonzo. How do we even know what Zion wants? We had that random tweet from Bill Simmons yesterday. You know, I'm an optimistic Pels fan. It's hard to win in New Orleans. JaVale McGee. King Ulysses. Who's gonna provide shooting on that team? Okay. Who's gonna be the shooter? I don't know how the Westbrook LeBron fit's gonna be. Yeah, Allen Iverson and Kobe did make the NBA cool. Honestly, it was, and I love Kobe. Don't get me wrong. We talked about this on this before. All right, and I know I'm losing viewers doing some NBA stuff. but I'm not going to lie. Allen Iverson had a huge, huge impact on the NBA. I could make a case that he had as big of an impact on the NBA as Kobe did. Now, Kobe had more success, and Kobe has a bigger worldwide reach. And Kobe, of course, transcended basketball with his love for soccer, his knowing 8 different languages, and what he did for women's basketball. But Allen Iverson changed the NBA culturally so much to where unless you really lived in that era, it's kind of hard to really say. So, yeah. Big Al said it's NBA time. I'm out. But yeah, I'm just not I never really was a Lonzo guy. I never really was a Lonzo guy. But AI, okay, so here's why. So Allen Iverson crossed up Michael, and Michael still almost blocked the shot. But there was a lot of things that AI did. You know, the baggy shorts, the shooter sleeve, the tattoos, the hair, the attitude. You know, it was everything, right? Also, the way the media portrayed him was different. Okay, so obviously, you know, the practice comment famously was taken out of context. What he said was really had nothing to do about not practicing hard. Okay, it was just the way he said it and the way it was cut. It was the first, you know, real viral out of context thing I could really remember in sports. So yeah, you know, AI changed everything, changed a lot. King Ulysses is trying to sell a bunch of LSU fans at the Lakers. The Lakers, who can qualify for AARP, is going to be running the league next season. No. Yeah, and Iverson was good at football too. But yeah, Chauncey was on those Nuggets teams. But was he on the Nuggets teams that wore the silky blue? But yeah, I was such a big Iverson fan. I was such a big Iverson fan, man. The Lakers and the Nets are not the finals we need. They're not the finals we need. Max says, I could see Khalil Mack or Aaron Donald winning the MVP. Max, you know what's funny? I thought about getting some Aaron Donald MVP shares, right? So let's say Matthew Stafford is good and the Rams live up to their potential. I could see it. I can really see it. I think we'll see some Patrick Mahomes regression. Not much. I think we'll see some, though. Or I might be totally wrong about that. But yeah, I think Aaron Donald can win the MVP this year. I really do. I do also think they should have a separate award. And they do, but we should look at NFL MVP. I mean, Aaron Donald's won this award, what, 3 years in a row? So yeah. Well, all right, guys. I think Robert went to bed, so we'll go ahead and do another 5-minute chat. So once again, Robert, if you're still in here, let me know. But we're gonna do a 5-minute thing. Unless you guys super chat, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. If not, ask me any questions in the next 5 minutes. It can be NBA related. It is past 2 hours. So as always, if it gets past 2 hours, I will happily talk NBA. I'll talk NFL. I'll talk MLB. I'll talk anything outside of the world of sports. Okay. I won't do politics though. So ask me anything in the next 5 minutes and I'll happily answer. Jared, I gotta show Haley some love here. And I always do. But no, Haley did have my chicken tortellini ready to go before the live chat tonight. I might have to go get some more though because I'm chunky and I like to eat. Guys, I'm not going to lie. I'm addicted to food. I love eating food. I really do. But any questions in the next 5 minutes? You can ask me anything about my life, my journey. You can ask me about Akeem Olajuwon. You can ask me about Dave Chappelle. One of my best friends from college just did offer me some Chappelle tickets. I think he's going to be in Smoothie King with Joe Rogan here in a few months. Cam Reddish is Zion's best friend. Yeah, but Cam might like being in Atlanta. I've already eaten, baby. My all-time NBA starting five. Okay, so Michael and LeBron are in there. It depends, Kyle. So if you were going to ask me, give me your best starting five. What happened, babe? You okay? Are you okay? Oh, she peed on the rug. My favorite Eddie Murphy movie? That's a good question. And I'm not going to lie, and this is going to sound bad, being a stand-up. Eddie wasn't my absolute favorite growing up. My favorite movie, though, I did like The Nutty Professors, okay? No, it's Pluto Nash, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Coming to America is the best one. Will Manning QB ever wear the LSU jersey? Maybe if he wants to come. But yeah, Coming to America is the best. Winning lottery numbers for next week: 3, 9, 76, 42, 17, and 21. How many numbers do you need for the lottery? Is it 5 or 6? I don't even know. All right, so Graylin has a super chat here. So we're going to keep this train moving. Jenkins and Moore are the popular number 2 and number 3, but are they best suited to complement Butte because both are more possession types? Okay, so good question. And V-Law, actually, I'll share my Beverly Hills Cop story some other time. But Graylin does have an actual super chat here. And Graylin, I'm going to disagree with you here. Coy Moore is a possession slot receiver. But Jaray Jenkins is not really a possession receiver. He actually does stretch the field a lot. And there were quite a few throws where Jaray was wide open that Myles Brennan and Max Johnson inexplicably missed. There was a throw against Mississippi State, 13:50 left to go in the fourth quarter this past year. It was 1st and 10. LSU was down by 10. And Jaray Jenkins on a post split the cover 2 like he had been doing all game. And Myles just made the worst throw you'll ever see. He was wide open. He short hopped him. Then there was a throw over the middle that Max missed to Jaray. Then in the early third quarter, Max missed a wide open Jaray in the back of the end zone for another touchdown. Jaray got open a lot. Also, Jaray Jenkins stretches the field when you look at numbers like ADOT, which is average depth of target. Okay, so average depth of target is how deep were you when the ball was thrown to you? And Jaray Jenkins had one of the best ADOTs not only on LSU, but in the SEC. Jaray Jenkins was top 10 in the SEC in yards per catch. Jaray Jenkins was number 1 in the SEC in EPA, expected points added, which the analytics community says is the number 1 stat in all of football. So, I'm not calling you. I'm just answering your question the best I can. Jaray Jenkins is the perfect number 2 to Coy Moore, or not Coy Moore, to Kayshon Boutte, because something else Jaray Jenkins does, LSU liked to use a route combination where Jaray Jenkins would run deep and draw the coverage, and underneath would be Kayshon Boutte wide open. There was a throw that I was studying earlier in the day when I was putting together the Max Johnson film study, okay? And this was such a well-designed play. It was on 3rd and 4, and we had a protection breakdown, but with 4:23 left to go in the third, or it was something like that. It was a 3rd and 4 against Florida. Jaray drew the coverage, drew both the safety and the corner, got behind them, and underneath, Kayshon would have been wide open if we got the protection right. And believe it or not, the protection breakdown actually came from Josh Williams, who was the running back. He probably should have stayed in to protect, or LSU probably should have checked into something. Florida green dogged Ventrell Miller, their linebacker, and he had an easy sack on Max Johnson. But if Max had just a little bit more time, he would have hit a wide open Kayshon Boutte, who was open because Jaray drew the coverage. So Jaray Grayland is actually someone that will fit really well alongside Kayshon. And I'm really passionate about it. I really do think Jaray is a really, really good wide receiver. And also having him be your number 2 allows those freshmen to come in and not have to play right away. Yeah, exactly, Grayland. And look, here's the thing. Is Jaray Jenkins a special wide receiver? No, he is not special. He's really, really good, but he's not Terrace level. He's not Ruben Randall level, but he was also not a 5-star recruit. He's worked really hard. He is very technically sound. He also has some real wiggle to his step. So when he catches, he makes guys miss. And his season, when you look at the numbers and when you look at the tape, was way better. Now, why don't we talk about it more? Well, the first thing is Kayshon and Terrace were unreal last season when they were actually in their prime last season. Also, we didn't win. And also, Jaray just isn't a look-at-me kind of guy. He's really quiet in his nature. But, it's just he's not a flashy guy. But he's high football IQ. He's clutch. He's good in the red zone. He's good on deep balls. Had the lowest drop percentage on the team. The more you look at the numbers, and I understand there's a lot of people that say, well, what about Trey Palmer? And what about Devonta Lee? And I get it. They were class of 2019. Jaray Jenkins was class of 2018, so he has a year of experience on him. But those guys just haven't, obviously Devonta wasn't even playing wide receiver last year, I don't think. He was at linebacker, and then he was at tight end, and whatever. I just don't think those guys are as good as Jaray Jenkins. I don't. I just don't. And Trey Palmer is really deadly, but it might be better suited for him just to be the kickoff and potentially punt return guy. Daniel, welcome to the channel, man. So, Grayland, let me know if that answered your super chat. Good. I always like to talk about that. So, Kyle, let me give you my all-time NBA number. Okay, so Kyle, if I was putting together an NBA team to beat any other NBA team, my starting 5 would be obviously LeBron, Michael, Kevin Durant. Then my other 2 would be, okay, so LeBron, Michael, Kevin Durant. I need another shooter, so let's go with Dirk Nowitzki, stretch the floor, and then let's have would Shaq fit in well with that unit? I don't know, Shaq. I think I would rather Hakeem with that unit. So I think Hakeem would be a better fit with those guys because he was a better, it was probably a little more. Well, no, Shaq was a beast athletically. But yes, that would be my starting five. If I had to pick 5 guys to beat any other 5 that's ever walked the face of the earth, I would do that. Now, as I hold a screwdriver for whatever reason, my all-time starting 5 isn't the greatest 5 players to ever play the game. Michael, LeBron, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Then the other 2, I think those 3 are pretty much locked in for me. I think those 3 are on a different tier. You then get into Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, Oscar Robinson, George Mikan in the older age, and then in the newer age, you then get into Durant, Nowitzki, Dwayne Wade, Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq. I mean, I would think Shaq would be on there, but that's not how I would field a team. You put Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. So yeah, I would do that. I would do LeBron, Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, and my number 5 would be Shaquille O'Neal or Bill Russell, either one of those. But I'm a big Hakeem Olajuwon guy. Not many guys could say they're top 15 in the history of the NBA in blocks, rebounds, and steals. Steals as a power forward. So Hakeem Olajuwon was just so unreal athletically. It's kind of the same thing though, but on a way grander scale than Dre Jenkins. It just isn't flashy. He didn't have this Shaq personality, but Hakeem was just so good. He was so freaking good. And in a way, he's underrated. Okay, so Mayhem, as much as I love Allen Iverson, and as much as I talked about him tonight, Allen is not in this conversation. And I think he would probably agree with you. He's probably in the 3rd or 4th tier players. That's not bad. Kareem, Duncan, LeBron, Kobe, MJ. That's pretty good. I think Jason Tatum will be a Hall of Fame player. I agree with you. Let me see. All right. So one thing to keep in mind is it's easier to get into the NBA or in the Hall of Fame in basketball than it is in football. So Jason Tatum, 2-time All-Star, got in the league at 2017, 2018, 2019. So 2020, 2021. He's only 23 years of age, so he's got at least 10 years. And in those 10 years, he probably needs to make 6 more All-Star teams to get into the Hall of Fame, and he's probably there. So yeah, I would lean towards Tatum being a Hall of Famer. Yeah, Spud Webb was great. I was about to say, Michael B., I love you, man, but I was about to flame you. You're gonna bring Spud Webb into this GOAT conversation. But yeah, Spud was great. All right, guys, we'll do a 2-minute warning here. How about Muggsy Bogues? All-time starting 5 for the Monstars would be Muggsy Bogues. I still haven't seen the new Space Jam. I want to, though. Mayhem, come on, dude. I know you're trolling now. Tracy McGrady? Mayhem, I might have to block you from this chat. There's some suspect comments. Suspect. Oh, your question about T-Mac going into the... You're probably asking T-Mac into the Hall of Fame. Fantastic. It's all good, man. Let me see Tracy McGrady as far as the Hall of Fame. Let's see. 7-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA first team. Yeah, he's getting in. Tracy McGrady's getting in. He's getting in. It won't be first ballot, but he'll get in. He'll get in. Not a Mamba fan, but you can't have a greatest list without him on it. Yeah, I mean, you could make a case that he's outside the top 10, but he's no lower than the top 20. He's definitely in the top 20. Or is McGrady already in? He is already in. So there you go. Yeah, he's in. Hired in 2013 with the Spurs. Yeah, he's in. Kyle, you're an NBA guy. I like it. So yeah, you could make a case that Kobe is outside the top 10. He's not in my top 5. He's probably close in that top 10. So my top 3 are LeBron, Michael, and Kareem. It's going to be hard for anyone to get in that top 3. Then the next 7 is probably some combination of Bill Russell. I think you got to have Bill Russell in your top 10. Okay. If you put in accomplishments and all of that. So he's definitely in there. And then after that, you can kind of sort of make the case for Kobe right there, in that next little tier with Oscar Robertson, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Tim Duncan, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal. They're probably all in that next tier. Okay. And then, you think about the next era. So like Kevin Durant would be touching that top 10. He's probably not in there. So yeah, Kobe's probably top 10 for me. You're in Lubbock, Daniel? That's cool, man. We got a lot of Texas Tigers. So, Daniel, you super chatted, so we'll keep this thing going. So, Daniel, if you want to keep talking NBA, I am happy to talk NBA. Let me know, Daniel. Yeah, Kobe's top 5 guard for sure. He's probably the second best shooting guard of all time. Especially if you consider Larry Bird a small forward. So, yeah, Kobe's probably second best shooting guard of all time. But most of the greats in the NBA are small forwards and power forwards and centers, right? And then in that next tier is like Isaiah Thomas, Karl Malone, Dirk Nowitzki is in that next, tier, but they're not with the Kobes and those guys. And then Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett's in that tier as well. Yeah, PJ, go Pels. And then Giannis is probably, already in the top 30. Yeah, Tim Duncan, once again, is in that top 10. It's hard to not have Tim Duncan in the top 10. It's really hard. Now, I understand he doesn't have a lot of fans, but it's hard to keep Duncan out of the top 10. And then obviously the player he's always going to get compared to is Kobe. And, I have Duncan slightly higher than Kobe, but they're obviously totally different personalities, totally different players, totally different teammates. The best shooting guard, as in the best shooting guard, Reggie Miller. But was Reggie Miller a better shooter than Ray Allen? That's going to be hard. Was he a better shooter than Ray Allen? Was he a better shooter than Mark Price? I'm kidding. Mark Price isn't in this conversation. And are they better shooters than Steph Curry? How much money for a Tiger Droppings username reveal? John, I wish I wish I was on Tiger Droppings. John, I'll put my hand on any good book. I've probably visited Tiger Droppings 4 or 5 times in the past year. Sometimes I'll click a link to a story that they have. But I've one of their message boards. I really haven't. Now, here's the thing. They might share my stuff on there. So I on everything. I'll put everything on everything. I don't know. What does Tiger Droppings look like now? It looks about the same. But John, do you go on there? What is rant still vicious? Huh? I'm all for Tiger Droppings, man. I'm all for message boards. Do whatever you want to do. That's fun. Let's see. But John, what you can do is give me some money and I'll make up a username. I'm I don't know. I don't know what my username on Tiger Droppings would be. But John, I'm curious. Do any of y'all comment on Tiger Droppings? I've never really talked about them on here. Let's see. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. Always catchy episodes. Respect, appreciate the hustle. Keep it going. Of a 4-state territory. What does that mean, Daniel? I'm curious. I'm also very curious about the Tiger Droppings. I honestly don't know how to post on there. Leonard says an LSU channel and no love for Pistol Pete. Not only no love for Pistol Pete. Oh, let me see here. I am curious. No love for Bob Pettit either. Okay. And I've brought this up before, but you can make a case. LSU has the greatest starting 5 in the history of college basketball. Would be Shaq, Pistol Pete, Bob Pettit, Chris Jackson, and who would be the 5th? Rudy Macklin, maybe? Oh, cool, John. Well, I appreciate you, man. Here's my usual thing about that, John, is okay. I like it when people share my stuff on like message boards or Facebook groups. And I understand that there's a lot of websites and YouTube channels that want to get their name out there, and I'm totally fine with it. But, and I swear on everything, John, it's so crazy. I've not shared one of my videos in a Facebook group or my Twitter account or Instagram or anything in quite some time. I normally just post and, lucky enough I have people that still watch every day. And it is kind of scary because sometimes, you worry about, like shadow banning and all of that. And it is kind of scary because, I am very independent. I have a lot of media friends at LSU, and I have a lot of friends around LSU. And I went to LSU. But it's weird though, John, because a lot of people that watch this channel are people like you, people that I have never met in my entire life. But yeah, it is so wild. I don't have a Tiger Droppings account. I really, honestly, the only LSU website I read religiously is Go247. So I read them a lot. And I know Shay. I've met Sonny. I've met Bill. I read Tiger Details from time to time. Julie and them do a good job. I also keep up with And the Valley Shook. They have some really talented writers there. So yeah, it's very interesting, the LSU media sphere, because I was, an LSU. I don't know if I consider myself a member of the LSU media anymore. I miss covering things though. There's some things I miss about going to press conferences every day and sitting in the press box. And I'll probably still cover some games. But it is interesting. Ben Simmons, possibly? No. Ben Simmons is not an LSU Tiger. Nah, dang, I don't need to log in. I don't. I'm a business development manager for a stone importer. Okay, so Daniel, I want to throw this out here. So it is interesting because so many people say insert city X has the worst drivers. But I kid you not, Albuquerque, New Mexico has the worst drivers ever, period. I saw the most insane car accidents I've ever seen. Like, people just leave their cars with no lights, no emergency on, just in the middle of the highway. And you're just supposed to know to not hit this car. John says Chris Jackson, Pistol Pete, Shaq Pettit. And honestly, I would put Garrett Temple there. Just have a wing guy that can do it all. And let the other four guys carry the weight. Don't post while you're drunk. That's probably a good thing. So there you go. Well, all right, guys. We'll do it again. 2-minute warning. So I'll answer any questions within the next 2 minutes. But if we get a super chat, we'll happily continue the party. All right, King Ulysses. Stanley Roberts story time. I knew Stanley well. And Stanley, when I was in school, actually came back and took classes. And, I was talking about the Taco Bell earlier. I would always hang out with him in the new Taco Bell on LSU's campus. I've interviewed him plenty of times, lost touch with him. But Stanley was legit the coolest freaking person. Oh my God, I freaking love that guy. Yeah, no love for Stanley Roberts, huh? Yeah, Bob Pettit is still alive. That's right. Born in 1932. I've actually met him a few times. Like when I was in school, he still went to a bunch of games. Houston has the worst drivers. Robert was in here earlier. We have a few Houston Tigers in here. El Paso? Huh? Yeah, you get some bad drivers. And I'm telling you, Albuquerque was so bad, though. Like, I was warned by my buddy, and he was like, dude, you're going to see some crazy stuff. People have no regard for human life. And I think people forget that when they're driving. Driving is really dangerous. Okay? Driving can be really deadly. And we have a bunch of truck drivers that listen to us while they drive. I-10 Roman's not been in here tonight. One of our viewers named Robert, not the other Robert, but King Robert, but the other Robert. We have a bunch of truck drivers I'm watching. Dude, I think about truck drivers all the time. I guess Texas drivers are just the worst. San Antonio drivers value no lives, not even their own. Well, there you go, guys. Congratulations to King Ulysses. He got some booger bands tonight. We'll have them on sale for the next live stream. Once again, that is 1 for 10, 2 for 15, 3 for 20. Also, we'll be posting on here soon. This is our newsletter Substack. A little bit of a dated post right there. Florida drivers are the worst. Atlanta drivers are the worst. Go ahead and get your PHL shirt. And do not forget, part 1 of our Max Johnson film study is right here. Okay, watch that video if you haven't already, because part 2 comes out tomorrow. And we're actually going to look at some throws tomorrow. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom! Chicken tortellini tonight. Let's go.